Growing a church can be really challenging in today's environment. After all, less than half of Americans belong to a church, the lowest it's ever been. And it's not just about membership. Actual attendance is also becoming more spread out. Get this, only 39% of Americans attend church services at least twice a month. With trends like these, which we dive deeper into with our new report on church attendance, check out the link below. It's crucial for churches to really step up their invitation game. What's often holding church invitations back? Let's talk about it. In our research and from our experience, we found how a church communicates and presents itself to newcomers is key to its long-term success. When it comes to making a lasting impression, churches need to focus on three things: church invitations, high-impact sermons and accompanying material, and last of all, a stellar follow-up process. Stick with us as we explain key tips, free tools, easily repeatable hacks to save time, and an overall system to master newcomer connections. Often, church invitations don't hit the mark because there isn't a clear, intentional process behind them. Think about it. No single person, whether it's the pastor or a staff member, can single-handedly carry the weight of successful outreach. Yet, so often, that's exactly what happens. The responsibility lands squarely on the shoulders of clergy, church staff, and maybe a handful of really motivated church members. A Lifeway study actually backs this up. It found that only 20% of church members extend more than 3 invitations a year, and a whopping 73% invite 2 people or fewer. To truly see success, it takes the entire church united in a mission. Today, we're going to unpack key tactics that we've seen make a massive difference. Tactics that get everyone involved in welcoming community members with open arms. It might sound basic, but for many members, the thought of personally inviting someone to church simply hasn't crossed their minds. In fact, that same Lifeway study revealed that 33% of members never asked anyone to attend their church. The reasons for this are varied. Some think it's not their role. Others feel too busy with Sunday service duties. And some honestly just can't pinpoint why they don't ask. This is where a little training can go a long way. Try dedicating just a few minutes each month during a service to focus on church invitations. Here's what you can cover. First, reiterate the mission. Why should members extend an invite? You can approach this logically. The church needs to grow to ensure its future, or appeal to the greater good. For example, think of the impact attending our church has on your life, on your relationship with God. Wouldn't it be nice to extend that grace to someone else in need of it? You can also bring in a biblical perspective. Whatever your approach, make sure members understand the purpose behind the mission. That's what truly inspires. Second, offer materials. What tangible resources can you provide? Invitation cards? Digital graphics? If you don't have any, don't worry. Check out the templates linked in our study guide below. We've got you covered. Third, provide examples. Show, don't tell. Role play an invitation with a willing church member. Demonstrate a variety of interactions. Remember, many people are introverts, and conversations about something as personal as faith can feel daunting. Lifeway's study highlighted that fear of past or potential rejection, with 26% saying it was the biggest reason they didn't ask. And the second, which was simply not feeling comfortable asking, at 13%. Both are major hurdles. Demonstrating these conversations can demystify the process and ease those fears. Did you know Easter, Christmas, and Mother's Day typically see the highest church attendance? Lifeway research confirms this. These are prime opportunities. During these peak times, the potential for new visitors skyrockets. Your church needs to be ready to capture this interest with well-planned seasonal campaigns leading up to these events. Let's take Christmas, for example. A survey revealed that around 19 million Americans are expected to spend Christmas alone each year. That's 1 in every 14 adults. This presents a huge opportunity for ministry. Extend invites well in advance for people to join a special church dinner or event during these times. A good rule of thumb is to approach invitations with a spirit of help and kindness. Think about unique ways your church can serve your community leading up to these busy seasons. For Christmas, what events or activities can your church host to help those 19 million people find connection and warmth? As we've discussed before, for many newcomers, their first step through your doors isn't a Sunday service. It's for a small group. People are actively seeking companionship, fellowship, and support, and groups provide that. For instance, does your church host recovery meetings? Many individuals in these groups are looking for spiritual guidance and support, which your church is perfectly positioned to offer. Make sure you're extending an invitation, even if it's a passive one like a flyer announcing service times and making it clear that everyone is welcome. Also encourage your existing small group members to personally invite newcomers from the group to attend a church service. Just like small groups, outreach events are often the very first interaction many individuals have with your church. Don't let this opportunity slip by. Gently nudge your volunteers to extend personal invitations to church services during these events. Help your members understand how an invitation aligns with the purpose of the outreach event itself. Show them how they can encourage participants to check out your services, whether that's in person or online. We've seen this done in many creative ways, but the real magic happens when you get buy-in from your church members. Ideally, you want your members to share an invitation on their own social media pages, maybe once a month or so. Why their personal pages? Because content shared by individuals typically gets far greater organic reach than posts from a church page, especially on platforms like Facebook that often limit organizational reach. Now, you don't need to give your members something compelling to post. Offering them a bit of autonomy works wonders. For example, we've talked earlier in this course about putting your sermons online, like on YouTube, and how easy it is to create sermon summaries with an embedded video. You could ask members to create a post sharing their favorite past sermon and explaining why it resonated with them. Then provide some simple call to action text that they can add, like, "Join me at our church for our next sermon this Sunday at 9:45 a.m. Can't make it in person? Check it out online at," and then enter the link. Let's be honest, for most church leaders, marketing probably wasn't their primary calling, but it's a necessary part of ministry today. One of the best ways to approach it is to reframe it. Instead of thinking, how can I get people to come? Try focusing on, how can I be of service to those who might want to come? What can we do for them? For example, some churches organize volunteer teams to go through local neighborhoods, simply asking if residents need help with anything. Maybe raking leaves, mowing a lawn, or a small repair. Whatever it is, offer genuine help. Once your volunteer has provided that assistance, they can leave an invitation card with your church service times and information about any groups open to the public. Yes, you might face rejection, but at the very least, your members will be actively giving to those around them, fostering their own growth while offering tangible assistance to those in need. Everything we've talked about today will be far more effective if your members have practical tools and templates they can easily use and share. That's why we built them, along with a few simple processes that make creating additional invite templates easy for members. But before you check them out, we wanted to show you how you could use them as templates or full social posts to share on your profiles. First up, let's talk about daily devotionals. These are a fantastic way to inspire your audience and point them to your upcoming sermon. In the past, crafting the perfect devotional post could take a while, but with this simple hack, you can create a meaningful post in just 2 minutes. Here's how it works. Scroll down to the prompt section, copy the entire prompt all the way down to the end. It's a lot of details, but you don't even need to read it. Just make sure you copy the whole thing. Then go to a large language model of your choice. I'm just going to use ChatGPT because it's the most ubiquitous. Hit enter, and then it's going to respond as a bot designed to help you with creating a social media post in a daily devotional style. All it needs is just a few details from you. The sermon title is optional, but I like to include it because it creates a better connection to your CTA. You'll need your sermon date because it needs it to tell when the sermon's going to happen. It says topic or Bible verse, and you can go with just one, but I find it's best to include both the topic and Bible verse. You don't have to go into a lot of detail. We are pretty sparse right here. And then just put tone and style. I usually just put encouraging, hope-filled, conversational. You can put any sort of tone or style you want, then just get your pastor name and church in there. And last of all, provide any other notes or preferences you might have. You don't have to go into a lot of detail. I just like to tell who it's for, so people going through hard times. And then I asked it to include a short prayer and call to join Sunday service. Then hit enter. And now it produced a full daily devotional style sermon invite. It has my Bible quote right here, inspirational text beneath it, a prayer, and then a CTA asking them to join us for the upcoming sermon. Last of all, it includes some hashtags. These can help with reach and visibility. Just be sure to read over it, make any tweaks or adjustments you want, but generally I find it produces very good copy the first time around. While devotionals are great, it's important to mix things up to keep your audience engaged. One of the best ways to do this is with a question or a poll. Social media platforms thrive on engagement, and polls are a surefire way to get people talking. Another powerful technique is creating a sense of urgency. A countdown or a friendly reminder can be a great motivator to encourage attendance at your upcoming service. Now, you might be thinking that this all sounds time-consuming, but what if I told you that you can create 5 different social media posts, each with a unique style, in just 2 minutes? Stick with me, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. To get started, simply go to the study guide or the list of 50 plus AI prompts for your church. You want to get this one right here. The study guide has a link that will anchor you directly to this section. Scroll down to the prompt, highlight the whole thing, make sure you get all of it, click copy, then go over to ChatGPT or a large language model of your choice. This will work in any AI platform, including Meta's Llama, Grok, or Claude. Paste it in and hit enter. And now it's going to respond as a bot pre-programmed with all the instructions. To make sure this is custom to your church, it'll need a few details. And I'm just going to paste my details that I got ready into there. And you can see that I didn't actually give a response for the last 2. I said I don't have one. So I'm hoping it's just going to come up with something for a testimonial or transformation story, perhaps something a little general, and then a topic for a question or poll post. And again, I don't have anything that comes to mind, so I'm asking it to come up with one. However, if you have specific ideas, be sure to include them. And now it responded with 5 social media posts. Each one is in a different style, allowing you to choose from a variety, from a sneak peek, behind the scenes pastor prep to gain excitement, or even a countdown. It was also able to make up a generalized story despite my lack of details. And it also got a poll question without any details. In the case of the 5 options, likely you can post a number of them throughout the week. So just pick out the 2 that you like best and post them. When newcomers visit your church, they often leave their contact information. Well, we hope they'll return on their own. A personal invitation can make all the difference. That's where email and letter invitations come in. You can send it to newcomers or even to your members to let them know about your upcoming sermon and invite them to the service. And you'll need to get the prompt. Simply go to our 50 plus free chat prompts for churches or access our study guide. You'll find the link directly within there, and then scroll down to this one right here and just grab the prompt. You want the whole thing, select copy, and then you're going to need to go into a large language model of your choice. I'm going to choose ChatGPT, paste this in here. It is then going to respond as a bot with these following instructions. And it needs some detail from you, particularly what's the sermon title. So I'm going to enter all this in at once. So my sermon name is Anchored in the Storm. And then I need to share a few details and notes about it. I really didn't include a lot there. It can work pretty well with just a sentence or 2. Then put your pastor name, name of church, and when the sermon is. And then note if there are any special highlights for this service. As put, yes, this Sunday features a special worship set with guest musician Caleb Ray, baptisms at the end of service, a kids' summer launch party during children's church, and one final question of, is there anything special for visitors? I put free coffee and pastries in the cafe and a chance to meet Pastor Emily after service. Once you're satisfied, select enter. Now it's shot out email copy complete with subject line and preview text. It also provided it in letter format. Once you have a letter you're good with drafted up, try to occasionally test out the subject line if you're sending an email. Doing this can help improve the open rate, which is the most important metric in my opinion. After all, folks won't see your message unless they click to view it. You'll find that an open rate increase of just a handful of points can make a lasting impact on getting visitors to stick around. One of the things I like to do to maximize my open rate is enter the following prompt in the window right after generating your letter and email text. So simply enter in, can you create 4 subject line options suitable for a church, but blends the best practices for generating high email open rates? Please keep the text beneath 72 characters to avoid truncation. And then it gives me 4 ideas for a subject line. Read through each of them and choose which one you think is best. I'm not going to go into the full detail for this one, but I wanted to highlight it. Taking your sermons, having AI build a summary for you, and then embedding your full sermon to that summary blog is a great way to create content that members and visitors will want to see. They can easily get an overview of a sermon, and if that overview captures their attention, they can click to watch the sermon. This is important because 68% of people choose a church based on the preaching. So you want this material to be front and center. Check out the study guide to see how you can easily create these sermon summary posts in just a few minutes with minimal effort. This brings us to our next key aspect of making a strong impression on newcomers, the church sermon. You're probably thinking, you don't have more time to put into your sermon. Hearing from the pastors we work with, time is a premium, and the data only validates their stories. 72% of pastors already report working 55 hours or more a week, and 45% report spending at least 10 hours on sermon preparation. So, where is this time to come from? There are new tools and specific use cases that can not only improve sermons, but help you do it in less time. And the best part of them all is that they're absolutely free. Churches using these tools will save a lot of time. In fact, we've seen it cut work time in half. Let's take a closer look at Notebook LLM, the free tool. You can access it with a free Google account. Click the Try Notebook LLM button, then click Create New. It's going to need some sources to analyze. Ideally, you can go to YouTube and add some sermons on a particular topic or theme. It's best to have them on one subject. Otherwise, there's going to be enough of a variance between them that there's not enough commonalities. So, for example, we're going to use Christmas sermons as it is one of the biggest times for visitors, and there's enough overlap between the subjects. Just to save time, I already added some sermons in here, and this is what happens once you generate. You can always add more later, and they don't have to be a YouTube link. They can also be a Google Drive doc, pasted text, really anything you can find. It gives a short summary of all the sermons right here. It also has a study guide, which you can generate. It has a briefing doc, which it will also generate, and FAQs. So it gives you some thoughts to maybe stir some creative juices. Here's some facts that it includes. You can also generate a deep dive conversation simply by clicking generate, and it will have two AIs chat back and forth about the information within these 5 sermons. What's really neat about it is that once it generates, you can even pause it and then ask it questions, and then it will respond to you. One of the things that I like to do is simply just ask it questions. For example, what hooks do these pastors use to draw the reader in? How might I do it better? Or I could ask, what is the core concepts that are covered? That could give me some idea of what to talk about. Also, engagement is very important. So I like to ask, what elements does the pastor use to engage his audience? How might I amplify them? You can click that in, and it'll give you some ideas. There really isn't one use for this tool or a specific way to use it because it's so versatile. However, there are 2 prompts that I find to be really helpful for brainstorming. To access them, check out the list of 50 plus church prompts within the notes. You can also find a link to it that anchors directly to the prompt within our study guide. The first one here is for a situation like the 5 sermons from YouTube on a particular topic. I just copy the whole thing in between the asterisks and paste it in as I did here. As you notice, I filled in the brackets here. If you use the prompt, be sure to enter your unique details. And here's what it provided. It gives 5 sermon titles, the specific angles for the titles, and key scripture for each. All these little numbers here are just citations that it cites from the sources that I gave it. So you can click on them to get some ideas or just hover over them and see how a particular pastor from your sources addressed it. The other prompt, which I like a bit more, is to use a past sermon you gave on a topic and brainstorm new ways or angles you could use it to make it better. This way you could continue to identify opportunities to strengthen your message, letting you improve while not reinventing the wheel. For this, you will need a transcript of the sermon. If you're uploading your sermons to YouTube, which is a really good idea, you can simply get the transcript link from there. Also, you can go to your recorded services and pull it from that section. If it is disorganized or has timestamps, don't worry about it. You can copy it and the AI will understand it perfectly fine. To demonstrate, I prepared a sermon on letting go and letting God. I would just paste the file in a new notebook LLM as I don't have a YouTube link. So I just pasted it in. It's going to load for a minute and then it's going to give me a summary. And now that it has read it and done its analysis, you can do a study guide of it, briefing doc, FAQ, just to refresh your memory on the details of the topic. Then go to our 50 plus prompts again, find the exact prompt, and this is for refining and improving sermon content. You just want the stuff between the asterisks. Now paste it into your notebook LLM. And before hitting enter, there is one asterisk portion. Make sure you enter your unique details about your church audience. I'm just going to use the example prompt. So I said my audience is a bilingual Methodist church in San Diego. And now it provided 5 sermon titles, drawing on the themes of the original sermon provided. So you can see letting go of the steering wheel, when God takes control, the weight you don't have to carry, finding rest in God. So there's 5 themes here. And since it knows that my congregation also is Spanish speaking, it provided the Spanish title. And what I really like about this prompt is that it gives an engagement analysis. So it looks at the characteristics of your sermon that was attached, and then it provides some critiques on how you could better engage the audience. And engagement's very important because that's what turns a passive listener into an active listener. So it offers suggestions for message flow, emotional connection, scripture application, and audience participation. What's really useful is all the individual citations, so it's giving clear examples of what it's talking about. And you don't have to be done once you get to this point. Maybe explain what it means by incorporating stories that specifically reflect shared cultural values. And it can chat back and forth with you, give you some more ideas and clarity on how you should tackle your next sermon on this topic. One of the things I like to do from here is pick one of the sermon themes and just see how it would look. Maybe create a discovery draft. So let's say I wanted to do that. I could ask it to create a 6-part sermon outline on the topic. So I would just write, please create a 6-part sermon outline on this sermon. Include an intro with a compelling hook, 4 key points expressed in the body, and a conclusion. I just do it that way because it gives a more robust outline. Sometimes it's good to be specific. And then just paste the dance of faith, the practice of following God. And I also have the concept details in here. Hit enter. And now it created a 6-part sermon outline. Ideally, you would want to read through it and see how it looks, particularly if you're going to use this outline yourself and you want to tweak it, make those adjustments. But in this case, I really just want to see how the full sermon would look. So what I would do is have the AI generate the full sermon from here. To do that, just go back into our prompts resource. Scroll down to our full sermons from outlines. And here's the whole prompt. So just copy this whole thing. And then you can enter that into an AI of your choice. However, I'm going to do it the easy way this time. We do have a free bot available in Poe. If you're using GPT, there is a GPT version of this, but you need to have premium. So we designed a free alternative here. And all you have to do is sign up for an account. So it already has the prompt in it, so you don't have to enter it in. All you need to do is go and get the full sermon outline, paste it in, and now it's going to create the sermon in numerous parts. It does it this way because otherwise it will sometimes just try to create a very short, abrupt sermon. After it completes each section, enter in continue, hit enter, and repeat the process until it completes the whole sermon outline. And now it drafted up the conclusion. It includes a prayer at the end,
bring everybody together.
I wouldn't suggest using this as your sermon. Most pastors will treat it more as a discovery draft, where they can read through it, picking out snippets and points they like, discarding what they don't like, and then completing it on their own. Others will use it as a first draft, stripping larger pieces out and reworking it. Either way, you want to spend more time. The reason is that even though you went through a unique way of brainstorming, tools like ChatGPT still struggle with originality. You want to pour your heart and spirit into the mold it built. With your brainstorming and drafting done, you'll need to spiff it up with some visuals. But if you're like me and you're not an artist, doing so can be a challenge without the right tool. Nowadays, the right tool for that is Canva. With Canva, you can easily build beautiful visuals for your sermons with very little work. Many churches are already using it, but some are missing out on the best things about it. After all, with its templates, it's pretty easy to just quickly whip up some slides and graphics without ever looking closely at the time-saving enhancements available to you with Canva Pro. This is different from a free Canva account. And if you're using a free Canva account, you might be limiting the time-saving and quality boost you can receive at no cost. As a nonprofit organization, your church can apply to receive Canva's Pro subscription for free, which unlocks full access to a host of features. To apply, visit canva.com, go to the Plans and Pricing tab, and select Not for Profit option. We'll also include a link within our study guide. This gives you additional access to free tools, materials, and settings. The expanded access, in particular, offers a library of photos, videos, audio tracks, and graphics, and templates for various design needs. This means you don't have to settle with limited or generic options. It also has advanced design tools, features like Magic Resize, Background Remover, and the ability to download designs with transparent backgrounds all make it easier for a low-skilled designer like myself to whip up some amazing images. And this one is one of my favorite. It has a brand kit. This lets you set up your logos, fonts, and color palettes for consistent branding. These collaboration features really help fight against burnout. For many pastors, they sacrifice their mental, physical, and spiritual health. But it takes a village to run a church, and that's why you need to take advantage of collaboration settings. Canva's nonprofit tool allows pastors to do this easily by including team members who all have access to the same kit, the same templates, and materials. I would encourage pastors to develop a system either by themselves or with the help of someone within the congregation. You could ask a willing volunteer to create the templates for you. Then all you need to do is update them with the new content, saving a lot of time. Or, alternatively, you can empower members to create the assets you need each week. I know it can be hard to ask for help, but this is one area that you'll find volunteers. Canva is a lot of fun to use, especially for those looking to express their artistry, and it really isn't hard to learn. You'll likely be surprised by the masterpieces volunteers will build if you give them autonomy to do so. One thing to remember, though, is you need to give your volunteers some time. That's why we'll help you to outline sermons in advance and give them a brief overview so they can work on them in their own time. Now that you have created an invitation process, captivated newcomers with soul-stirring sermons, you'll need to complete the most overlooked task: follow-up. Think about it. If you simply hope for the best without having a follow-up system in place, many of your newcomers won't return. Let's take a look at the 8-step process we've seen work well. Why not follow up before visitors even step through the door? This is about laying the groundwork and easing potential anxieties. How? Use Plan Your Visit forms or pre-registration options on your church's website. You can also monitor your contact forms or social media for new inquiries. The key is to incentivize this, offer clear benefits. For example, let us save you a seat. We'll help you pre-check in your kids. Pre-registered guests get a welcome gift. Highlight practical details like nursery availability. Here's the payoff. People who pre-register are more likely to attend and tend to be stickier, meaning they're more likely to return. Next, you need to build a team. This is huge. Without a dedicated team for welcoming and follow-up, that responsibility often falls solely on a pastor or becomes a scattered effort among staff and or a few dedicated churchgoers. What you need is a cohesive group of passionate members forming your welcome and hospitality team. These aren't just friendly faces. They are a strategic team. Your ambassadors have warned, ensuring no visitor is missed and follow-up is consistent. If you're wondering how to build such a team, we included a free guide. This team is non-negotiable for growth. They bring your welcome strategy to life. Now let's get strategic about the visitor's actual journey. This brings us to point number 3. You need to develop a clear visual pathway for a first-time visitor, guiding them from their initial visit to becoming a connected member or volunteer. For example, think about it this way. What is the journey from first visit to return visit? After the second visit, do they attend a membership class or a small group, or perhaps join as a volunteer for an event? Keep in mind, if you don't know the path, how do you expect them to know how to get involved with your community? Your assimilation map shows the steps. It will detail the follow-up protocols after every single phase and contact. Remember, each step is an opportunity to reinforce connection and guide them. An assimilation map turns a haphazard process into an intentional journey. Your church's GPS for visitor connection. Now, to follow up effectively, let's go to our fourth idea. You can't follow up without contact details, but what and how you collect matters. What to gather? At a minimum, name, email, and phone number. A key tip here, only ask for information you intend to use. Now, how do you gather details? Physical connection cards still work, but also embrace digital, online forms on your website, via text to connect or QR codes. And those pre-registration forms we mentioned earlier are critical. The secret sauce here is you need to incentivize it. Offer a clear reason for them to share their details. A fair trade of value. Incentives can be gift cards, church swag, or even better, a small charitable donation, perhaps $5, made in the visitor's name. Another idea is sharing your church's music. Perhaps your church band or choir has created some thrilling worship songs. Offer it to them. These things demonstrate generosity, aligns with outward focus, and invites the visitor to participate in giving from the outset. Keep in mind, it doesn't have to be a tangible gift. You could also include a complete calendar of church events, a listing of church groups, and when they meet. Or people might be looking for spiritual guidance. Where can people find more of your church's past sermons? If you're doing sermon summaries, as we suggested, point them to your blog page or point them to your YouTube channel to view past services and sermons. You can also invite people to join your church's app where they can access group discussions and more materials to connect. The fifth item is where strategy meets action. Establish clear, written, and consistent follow-up processes as a team. Formalizing your follow-up process ensures every visitor gets the same care, makes measurement easier, provides clarity, and helps your church scale. But here's the key. You must verify the process is being implemented. Follow-up can easily be neglected. Churches that consistently verify often see the most growth. When doing this, it is important to set clear guidelines that answer key questions, such as how quickly to follow up. With this question, the answer is the faster the follow-up, the better. Most churches follow up on the day of the church service. Although there isn't much data on the success for follow-up rates for churches in particular, there is plenty of general follow-up data for organizations. When people are called in the first 5 hours, the likelihood of success is 40% greater than 24 hours later. For organizations responding back within an hour, results were 7 times better, according to Harvard Business Review. Now, these results include businesses, but keep in mind the world has grown more fast-paced, and people, fair or not, expect fast responses. As a church, you might not have as much expected of you, but response time should still be quick. Aside from the pace of the follow-up, you'll also want to set guidelines that clearly answer the following questions. Whose responsibility is it to look for newcomers and greet them? What should they say to them when they are greeted? What is the response process? And last of all, what materials should go in your church welcome packets? If you're looking for a welcome packet kit, don't worry. We have a free, complete kit with connection cards and more. Check the show notes to learn more. Let's take a closer look at how we communicate to newcomers. Use a combination of channels to break through noise and suit preferences instead of relying on any one item. To help you get acquainted, let's look at the top communication channels. The first is email. Implement an automated email sequence using a church management system, for example, ACS's ministry platform or Realm, or use tools like MailChimp. What's nice about email is you only have to build it once, and it runs for each new contact. After your first build, try to monitor the results and see if you can craft a message that connects better than your original. The second is text messages. Ask a question in your text to encourage two-way conversation. The third one is phone calls. A personal call still holds plenty of value. Even a sincere voicemail demonstrates care. But avoid being salesy. Visitors don't want a high-pressure sales call. Keep the conversation light. Remember, you're there to help them find what they're looking for. The last one is physical mail. A physical card or note, perhaps with a small gift, builds goodwill. If you're looking for free letter templates to help you with this communication and others, check out our free letter templates guide. Systems are great, but if communication feels generic, it will often fall flat. Ensure it's personal and sincere. Use the visitor's first name. If you met them, recall a specific detail. If you're writing to them through text, letter, or email, write conversationally, not formally. Authenticity is highly valued. Also decide who is going to contact the newcomer. People often connect with a church through the lead pastor, so ensure at least one significant contact, initial email or call, comes from the pastor. That personal touch from leadership is always powerful. Consistency is vital to show guests they're important and help them feel seen. 1 or 2 messages are rarely enough. Follow up weekly for an extended period, at least 5 weeks or about 6 total messages. Why do it this way? Many guests don't have a regular church attendance habit. Consistent, gentle reminders and invitations help them form one. Don't think of yourself as being pushy with these messages. You're just persistently welcoming, staying top of mind in a caring way. We've covered a lot, and there's even more. I'm going to pass you over to my teammate that will show you a tool that thousands of churches across the country are using to streamline church communications and connect your team, volunteers, and staff to your larger congregation, organizing key groups, materials, and much more.
Let's jump into how you can get started utilizing these tools and strategies to help accelerate growth and drive giving and engagement at your church. Now, obviously, there are a lot of different giving platforms available in today's market, and we know that many churches are already utilizing online giving. But if you're watching this and you aren't utilizing a giving platform currently, or maybe you're just looking to make a switch to a better option, let's talk about why you should choose Vanco. There are a lot of different reasons, but our top 10 include things like our white glove customer service and support, our free mobile church app, our enhanced giving pages and tiles, our multiple donation options, the fact that we have no long-term contracts, our complete data security, and the fact that we integrate seamlessly with over 60 church management systems. You'll also get quick access to donated funds. And we offer free launch materials and in-depth training to drive church growth. Plus, we have over 20 years of experience helping over 25,000 churches to grow giving and much more. Now, in addition to these great reasons, our team at Vanco put together 10 simple steps to boost engagement, maximize giving, and accelerate church growth. And with this simple framework, we can help turn your church into a thriving community. So the foundation of our process starts with setting up your online giving tools and giving pages, hosting community events and small groups to attract new members, effectively sharing your giving link online and with your community, promoting recurring giving to your members, showcasing stories and the impact your donations can make, thanking givers and providing updates on impact, creating internal champions, and maximizing fundraising efforts through simplifying capital campaigns and utilizing giving data to scale growth and increase retention. Overall, our goal here at Vanco is to help your church tell your story, share your story, foster generosity, and gain insights on the back end so you can make educated decisions to help you elevate your community's experience through effortless giving and enhanced engagement. Getting started with us is incredibly simple. To get started, you can connect with our team here at vancopayments.com or give us a call directly at the number you see here on the screen, and our team will be happy to help you build your optimized giving system today. Thanks so much for watching, and we look forward to working with you.